Hello everyone and welcome to my very first Dawngate video. The point of this video is to showcase to you guys a little bit of what Dawngate is from a gameplay perspective, as well as kind of delve into the mechanics and gameplay styles of each of the different shapers. One at a time, of course. To anyone who doesn't know, Dawngate is a MOBA style real-time strategy game. So you take control of one shaper on a team of 5 to push down 2 lanes and destroy your enemy's base. It is very similar to League of Legends or Dota in that aspect, but Waystone Games has really added enough gameplay elements and tweaked enough things, in my opinion, to at least warrant giving it a go. Just for those of you who are wondering, this is actually a post-game commentary. I don't have enough... I'm not good enough at multitasking to be able to do both at once yet, but I'll give it a go if you guys seem interested enough in seeing me fail at that. So the character I'm playing today is called Amarynth. She is a burst style mage, though I'm actually playing her as a tactician in this. Waystone has added a gameplay element to Dawngate to help set it apart from the rest of the market, whereby you actually choose the position you're going to be playing as before the game even starts. So, for example, I chose Tactician, which is the support role in this, which allows me to gain bonus Vim, which is the name for gold, simply by harassing my enemy shapers. Because Amarynth's Q is a very low cooldown targeted spell, that makes it very easy for me to get this bonus gold, considering I don't really need to worry about shooting skill shots through minions or them dodging it through flashing or whatever. So in my opinion, I think she kind of makes for a decent tactician. The other roles you can choose are Gladiator, which is the name of the carries, which would be what my porcupine dog friend is playing as. He's going to be gaining bonus Vim for kind of the last hit on minions. Even though I do get the bonus gold, he's going to be getting a lot more of it. Other roles include the Jungler, which simply gives you much more jungle sustain, and the Predator, which is the name for the assassins, which gets you much more bonus Vim for kills and assists. These roles really do help make sure that everyone kind of fills all the roles and you don't have people trying out silly things. Also means that you usually have a decent team composition, even though you might not always get the role that you wanted. Seeing as there are 2 lanes as opposed to the traditional 3, it does mean you usually have 2 duo lanes and 1 jungler, though occasionally you will get 2 junglers and have one of the lanes go solo. From what I've played so far in my whole 4 games of this, the duo lane seems to work a bit better, but then again, the games that I've been playing have been a little finicky. Seeing as it is in beta, there are a lot of things that aren't quite working yet. There have been a lot of games where I have had a lot of issues connecting to the game, where my teammates have had issues of connecting. Most of the games I've played so far have been 4v5 or even 3v5. So this is actually the very first game that I got to play where it was a decent length game and all 10 people actually connected. So good for me. So like I said, Amarynth is supposed to be played as a burst mage. Her Q is a single target damaging spell. It's not all that powerful, especially on its own, but it does work with her other spells quite nicely. Her W, so her second skill, is a dash, which though it does damage, I usually use just for escapes or occasionally initiations. Her W doesn't have a very high power ratio on it, making it not making it very opportune for doing damage to your opponents, especially considering how squishy Amarynth is. Her E is a skill shot bubble, for lack of a better word. It will stick a bubble onto an enemy that will do AoE damage after a certain amount of time. However, it incorporates with her Q very nicely. If an enemy has this bubble on them, using a Q will do constant damage to them, which is where Amarynth really starts to shine. The bubble's damage is, especially when used with her Q, is very high damage, especially at early levels, and scales into the late game very nicely. I've been able to pick off kills a lot just using this combo, just happening to land an E on them and then following it up with a Q. I've gotten enemies half health, down by half health, just by using this. So she's extremely high damage. Her ult is a skill shot line that passes through anything it goes through, that knocks up and I believe slows them, as well as doing quite a decent amount of damage. Again, I usually use this for escapes, seeing as I will use my bubble for initiations. Not that it may should really be initiating, but it happens. Though her ult is pretty good for initiating as well, if it needs to happen. So you see, just in laning phase here, we're pretty much just kind of poking back and forth, trying to get CS. I'm landing as many bubbles and Qs as I can, and just trying to get as much harass as I possibly can off them. You can see above my skill set that little eagle that pops up every now and again. That's the cooldown on my tactician bonus gold. So I'm trying to poke them, leave for 5 seconds, get another poke, leave for 5 seconds. It's been working quite nicely. You also notice, if you look at the bottom lane in the mini-map, just in the bottom right, you also see that most of the activity in the game is actually happening in the bottom lane. Both junglers are leaving top lane alone for now, which I'm okay with. I'm still not very used to this game. Like I said, this is my 4th game, so the more practice I get with this character, the better, especially when we're not trying to be ganked every 5 minutes. Some other gameplay elements that Waystone has incorporated that, in my opinion, make it a more interesting game. The item system, which I'm very fond of. Instead of having multiple items that you kind of craft together to get different things, or have kind of weird combinations of bizarre crap that annoys me. Every item you get has a branching tree, pretty much. So if you start with the damage item, as there is only one damage item, it'll branch off into about 6 other ones, each doing different things. And then those will each branch into 2 or 3 ultimate or legendary items. It makes it very easy and intuitive to buy items, and even if you're not sure exactly what you want to go for, if you know it's going to be around damage base, you start with damage, you can work on it later. You can see in lane the enemy support has gone missing. We have actually marked that, I believe. So we've just been trying to push the lane up as much as we can and take some prods at the enemy carry. Here, as I open up the shop, you can see how the different item trees work, which works quite nicely. At the beginning of the game, I am building as much damage as I can. My reasoning for that being, I'm pretty confident in my ability to escape whatever harass my opponents might throw on me. I do have my dash, I do have a blink, I have my ult if I need to use it. So in the event that that we get into a team fight, I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to get out relatively unscathed. That will change late game. I am planning on buying more armor and resistance items as the game goes on, but I'm gonna wait to do that until after the lanes break. So you see there, that was just kind of me trying to get the best EQ combo I could off of him. He came extremely close, which made landing my skill shot very easy. Of course, since the Q is targeted, I don't really need to be, as long as I'm in range, it's pretty much guaranteed damage. And then I made sure to dash out before he used his own skill shot to avoid as much damage as I could. Amarynth is extremely good at prodding people under turret, considering her skill shot is relatively long range and she can dash out of the turret's range if needed. So you can see there, I took out at least a third of his health with a single combo, which is amazing, especially considering I'm only level 7. I'm going to keep this up as much as I possibly can during laning phase, though it doesn't net me any kills until about 10 minutes in, to be completely honest. Again, we know that the jungler is not really focusing on lane, which is why we're pushing up as much as we can. We are generally getting a bit more CS. I'm trying to let my porcupine dog get as much of the CS as I possibly can, but though it seems the enemy is actually kind of sharing the CS, which in the long run probably isn't going to help them. Now I believe shortly the enemy jungler is actually going to gank us, though maybe not yet, it might be in a bit. To be completely honest, I played this game a couple days ago, and I've been trying to record so many times to make sure it sounds okay. So I apologize if I get some of my timings wrong. Another gameplay element that is that's quite interesting, that sets this game apart, is the Spirit Well system. So if you look in the very top of my screen between the two scores, you'll see the 4 two red and two blue circles with locks on them that just disappeared. Oh, here comes the gang from the jungler. Unfortunately, I am not able to save my lane opponent. I use my ult to get him away. That the enemy carry uses his ult. I do try to make sure to move out of the range of it to make sure that we don't both die, because I can hold the lane pretty decently on my own. Unfortunately, our carry did die, so that is a shame. If I was more ballsy than I am, I probably could get a kill on their carry at the moment. He is extremely low on health, but he is most likely recalled at this point. Lost opportunity, but he could have gone worse. Yes, apologize. So going back to the circles at the top, those are spirit well markers, pretty much. At the beginning of the game, each team is in control of 2 spirit wells, which can be captured after 10 minutes. The more spirit wells your team owns, pretty much, the more passive gold your team has. Meaning that even if your team is down in kills, as long as they're ahead in spirit wells, you're in pretty good standing. You can see though my team is actually capturing the opponent's lower spirit well, which will hopefully give us a bit of a head considering they do have more kills than us. And I don't think we capture it, which is a shame. Like I said, the lanes are still kind of intact. No one's taken a tower yet, which is a bit of a bummer. Though we are trying to shove this lane as much as we can. Our jungler really doesn't help us almost at all until the lanes are completely broken. Though we did capture the spirit well there, so that is good. So you can see they really are focusing my carry a lot harder than they're focusing me. He doesn't have any escapes to my knowledge, so that it is make more sense for them to focus him. Now, because it is beta, you're going to get all kinds of skill levels, and what I notice is the enemy carry, this orange guy, never seems to realize that we have a ward in that bush. He continually walks over there, taking a lot of free harass. So you can see here we're kind of trying to prod as much as possible. Though I know that the purple lady has a blink and he's got a lot of range, so I'm trying my best to stay out of that. There he goes again. He's taking a lot more harass. I don't understand his logic behind that. We've obviously got it warded, so it's his loss though. So I really shouldn't complain. Now my opponents are a lot more pushed to our tower at this point, so we're trying to play as defensively as possible while getting as much of the CS without losing it to the tower. I am extremely low and my lane partner is extremely squishy, so I'm rather hesitant about recalling, seeing as it would be rather easy for them to dive us. I am still going with my damage items because I need to try to burst people down as much as I can, and I haven't died yet, so I guess that's okay. Now, at this point they are going to be 4v1 in top lane trying to take this tower. They're trying to burst it down as quickly as possible considering we're both recalled. And so now we're going to have Banana Lady here trying to help them as well. I'm able to come back before it dies. Unfortunately I'm not able to save it though. I do as much damage as I can. I use my ult to push them back, but they do take the tower here. Now this is a mistake on my teammates' part. You can see the other support down there decides to go in 1v3 or 1v4 and does get his ass annihilated. So that's kind of bad. He is supposed to be our tank. He's not extremely tanky, which is annoying for everyone involved. I do get a little greedy here. I try to get a kill on Banana Lady and the orange monster thing is able to completely destroy me. So that was pretty bad on my part. I was out of position. That was completely my fault. And now our carry also dies. She is able to make herself invulnerable while he comes up to get the kill. Excuse me. Though our jungler will come in and is able to get the kill on Purple Lady. So that we've at least got that going for us, which is good. So I'm just about to respawn. I am starting to look at other defensive items I can get now that the lanes have broken and we've lost a tower. I do start with magic resist because I've been finding myself being burst down by mages or mage types and assassins more than their carries. Sustained damage I can usually escape from. Burst damage I'm not great against. You have to excuse me. So here I'm going to head back up to the top lane. There's really nothing happening in bottom, so I figured I can either help my carry, get some CS, or get some CS myself. It is only Banana Lady in lane at the moment. I think she was AFK for about 2 seconds here, or DCs or something, before she starts focusing again. It is now 3v2. In retrospect, we should have pushed up more here. There were 3 of us against 2 of them, and Banana Lady's at half health. So we should have taken more advantage here than we did, but it could have been worse. I am able to take out a third of Orange Guy's health again though, so that's quite nice. I'm trying as best I can to save my dashes for escaping, because especially the orange man there, he's got extremely high burst damage, so I want to try to avoid his attacks as much as possible. Down at bottom lane again, they are... Oh, okay, I get caught out of position here. My 2 teammates headed up towards Money Pigs, and the 3 of them caught me out. I kind of want to blame them for it, but I know I shouldn't, so I kind of don't. I know I was really out of position, though I'm not quite sure why they just decided to leave like that. You can see at bottom lane, they are kind of wrestling for that spirit at well. So hopefully they can capture that back, or stop my opponents from capturing it, or whatever the heck was going on. At this point they are pushing up that top lane a lot more now. Banana Lady is really farming that CS hard. I don't think Dog Porcupine is able to really get her. Oh no, I remember this now. So Banana Lady is going to go in and try to escape. I'm very close, and I'm almost able to get close enough to get an assist on this kill. However, Porcupine Dog does position himself very well and is able to cut her off here and get the kill on her, which is good. Seeing as we're here and you actually just saw one of the monsters, I'll just explain the buffs super quick. There are 3 buffs in this game as opposed to the 2 from League of Legends, which is what I'm used to. There is a green buff which gives you power damage, which is pretty much going to strengthen your auto attacks and armor. Also that accidental ult, you didn't just see that, that was total pro plays right there. You should remember, kids, you should always use your ultimate to clear CS. That's what your R button is for. Yeah, so jungle mobs. There's a green one which will give you power damage, which helps boost the power of your skills and auto attacks. You have an orange one which is going to raise your defenses, and a blue one that raises your move speed and attack speed. So depending on the jungler, you really have a lot of options as to where to start, though eventually all 3 of them are going to help pretty much any kind of jungler. On top of having those 3 buffs, you're also going to have a mob called Money Pigs, which is just kind of a high health target really, that gives you a lot of money or Vim once you kill it. And then you also have the boss mob in the middle of the map, which is called the Parasite. I haven't actually played a game where Parasite has been contested yet, though to my understanding it's very high health, you're going to need the entire team to do it, and they give you different kinds of buffs depending on what level he is. He does level up 2 times, I believe. Now at this point, I don't know why the orange guy didn't burst me down. He could have very easily killed me, especially with the enemy jungler there, but he did just decide to walk away instead, so I'm going to stay in lane. Now this is a mistake on the enemy jungler's part. He is relatively low on health, and he's not got very good defensive items at this point, so I am able to burst him down extremely quickly. Just kind of knowing your enemy's range and damage is part of the game, and I guess since it is new, he wasn't quite used to it. I'm able to get the kill on him, but orange guy goes all in, so I ult to push him back, I blink to get out of his range, and shield myself to survive his ult. I do have to use everything I possibly have to survive that, but I do it, and I'm super proud of myself. So I am able to get a kill without feeding their carry anymore, which is nice. I'm able to buy my last damage item now, which is called Pain, which is going to give me a lot of power and a lot of mastery, which I believe is like your critical strike, to my understanding. Again, I'm very new to the game as well, so if you know exactly what mastery is, leave a comment below and let us all know. After this, I am going to start building many more defensive items, because I've got enough damage now to be considered useful, but I want to be able to survive longer in team fights. So we're just going to stay in the lane here. Having all 3 of us here, especially having 2 carries in the lane, it gives us a great opportunity to actually Sorry, we have one carry in the jungler in lane. It was a great opportunity to actually shove this tower down. I believe it's relatively low as it is, and considering how much burst damage I have, we should be able to take them out relatively easily. One thing I was quite questionable about is that purple lady. To my understanding, or from what I've read anyway, she is an assassin type. She's very high burst damage, lots of teleports and blinks and single target damage. However, she is actually building tanky in this game. I'm not sure how effective that really is, considering she's not really a tank type, but it seems to be what she wants to play, so I'll let her do it. She does start to try to take our spirit well here, so I'm able to dash in. I do miss both of my E's here, which I'm extremely upset about. I do ult her because I thought that Dog Porcupine was going to initiate, but he's having some hesitation doing so. He walks back and forth a little bit. Unfortunately, we're not able to CC her down enough to get the kill, and then the enemy jungler comes in and slows us down even more. So that's kind of unfortunate. I did waste my ult on it, but it's better than her capturing our spirit well, so that's okay, I guess. We are going to stay in lane here. I'm level 14 at this point, which puts me ways ahead of our jungler and... puts us ahead of my carry actually, and the enemy jungler. So I'm actually quite in a good position right now. We are able to take this turret, which is really nice. Something worth mentioning, another gameplay change that they have is... I was hoping I was going to get the kill there, but I'm not able to. The turrets also act as what's called bindings in this game. The more enemy bindings you destroy, the stronger your large minions are. So you'll actually see as the game progresses, the more turrets we take, those large minions of ours will actually get a lot bigger and a lot tankier. To compensate for that, however, bindings will regenerate over time. So if you don't keep a lane pushed, if you don't keep those, if you don't keep those bindings down, your minions are going to get weaker essentially. So it is very important to make sure you keep lanes pushed and don't just continually contest for spirit wells and jungle creeps. Something I want to mention here is my carry decides to ping Banana Lady. I'm actually able to burst her down in 2 skills. She gets close enough for me to land my E and plus my Q. I dash to get out of her ult, and she's not able to kill me. If I'd stayed, we probably could have killed their jungler quite easily, but I wasn't about to risk it. I was far too low on health and energy to be able to do that, so I just want to recall and get my defensive items again. So now I've got some armor, I've got some magic resist, I've got very high burst damage, which is quite nice. I'm in a very good position here. I don't actually have any assists, which is kind of weird considering I'm supposed to be one of the supports, but I am contributing to my team, I feel, which is quite nice. You just see in the chat here, but the carry that pinged Banana Lady is just saying he actually didn't help, even though I said good job. And so I'm just saying he pretty much kept the jungler off my ass when I was escaping, which is quite valuable.
An ally has been shut down.
Yeah, so people are dying left, right, and center. I'm just here cleaning up creeps. Another minor change, but quite useful, that I'm very fond of in this game is your enemies that are dead will actually appear on the right side of the screen, so you can see how many people are dead. Because at the moment where they were down by 2, they're now down by 1. But the one that is dead is quite a large target. It means that we can push this lane in with relative safety. Their jungler is practically useless at this point. He's just not tanky enough and not high damage enough. Banana Lady is not extremely strong. I can burst her down in about 2 shots. The orange guy is much more of a threat, however, so I do make sure to ult to get them away from me. I do blink in order to get out of her ult, but she decides to overextend. Dogman comes along and we are able to kill her very easily, which is very good. So I got my first assist as a support. Unfortunately, I'm not able to save my carry here. I'm far too low on health. He decides to not kill me even though he could have in 1 shot, which is probably a mistake on his part. Dog Porcupine was practically dead anyway, so they only missed an opportunity to kill me. Instead they do decide to go for a Spirit Well, but the cavalry is able to come in time to defend it, which is very nice. So
Your spirit well is under attack.
I'm just going to heal up and come in to back them up.
Enemy has been slain. Allied double kill. Your binding will respawn soon.
So as you just heard right there, it's saying the binding is respawning. Actually see as I pass it how it does respawn. That's going to kind of cripple their lane push a little bit. I'm going to come in here and just clean up all the CS I can. So now the binding is respawn. So now they're in actually a pretty bad position. They only have one Spirit Well to our 3 and they're down by 5 kills. On top of that, one of the 2 bindings that they took has respawned already. So now their wave push is a lot weaker. This is going to put them in a much more defensive position because there's almost nothing they can do to stop us at this point. I position myself around to try to catch Banana Lady off. I am able to brush it down, but I do get a little bit greedy. If I had used my bubble there instead of when I did, I probably would have avoided getting stuck in this mess. I have to bury myself in order to scythe, and I alt to push them off, although my teammates are not there to help me. I was hoping they would stick around, but I am able to get away, so that's okay. They turn around to try to contest the Spirit Well again, so I decide to stay in the fight. I try to focus their carry with the gun, but I miss my E, which is okay. We are able to kill him anyway though, so that's good. This is just a bit of a rolling team fight. It's probably not the best way to do it. We're all quite low on health, and the 2 of them that are left are still quite high. I'm sorry, the one, or Purple Lady is still quite high, I apologize. They are, however, we push down another binding, and my teammates are able to push another Spirit Well. So we do have that going, which is quite nice. I believe I record a base right here, but my enemy is able to kill the Purple Lady. Yeah, there you go. So that backs her off. We are able to capture the Spirit Well. Pretty much once that well has been captured, there's nothing they can really do to come back from this. We've just got too much gold coming in and our kill lead is too high. They do surrender now, I think. In a second. There we go. They do surrender because we were just far too ahead. The Spirit Well mechanic is quite nice, meaning that even if you are behind in kills, if you can capture the Spirit Wells, it does put you in a better position, which can sometimes be a turnaround. Just after game mechanic stuff, for a couple of seconds after the game, you can give your opponents and teammates karma, depending on how well they did, or if they were friendly. There is currently no way to report toxic players, although that'll probably be implemented at some point. I actually only just realized that Banana Lady was technically a tactician, which is a strange role for her. After this you get a loot roll, so you roll a random number, and then that plus your victory or defeat bonus and then karma bonus will determine how big of a reward you get. So I got a grand reward, and that will contain either Spirit Stones and or Destiny, Destiny being the in-game money, and Spirit Stones being perks you assemble before the game. So just some last minute thoughts as the game wraps up here. I think Waystone Games has done a fantastic job in giving Dawngate its own feel and its own art direction, and really helping it stand out as a MOBA game in this market, which is very rapidly growing. A lot of the gameplay elements that they've added I'm very fond of, though there is some kind of optimizing and rebalancing that does need to take place. That being said, I think it's definitely worth at least checking out, even if you only play 1 or 2 games. Check the description below if you want to get the link to that, and I encourage you to give it a shot. As far as the video goes, thank you very much for watching my very first video game video, and leave a comment below if you have any suggestions, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. And until then, have fun playing Dawngate.